Okay, so my name is Shariyar, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at Ryerson University, and I'm also an instructor over there. And I'm teaching big data analytics at Ryerson University. And in that big data analytics course, I introduce Watson cognitive question answering system that David Douglas just provided you an introduction about. So in fact, that was a very good introduction for my presentation. So I taught that I used Watson Cognitive as a project, and students build their projects on Watson Cognitive question or the question answering system. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to discuss our experiences on that on Watson Cognitive, and I'm going to explain you the fundamentals of Watson Cognitive as well. Okay. So Watson question answering system is a cognitive system, and you already just saw the definitions of cognitive system. So cognitive system learns through the natural language expression, and they evolve with scenarios. And the example is a natural language document. So they can parse the natural language document, and then they can try to understand what is going on in the natural language documents, and they can answer questions for you based on those documents. And Watson question answering system, or Watson Cognitive, does exactly that. Okay, it answers questions based on the natural language document that you provide to Watson. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier in my intro, so we introduced Watson to the students of Big Data Analytics course at Ryerson University. And we had about, like I have introduced, I've taught up till now 3 courses on Big Data Analytics, and there were about 40, 30, and again 47 students in all 3 courses. So what I did, I divided students into different groups, and I asked them, and each group had a different subtopic, and I asked them to create documents, curate documents, and add and provide and provide a mapping of questions to different parts of the documents, and so that Watson can be trained. And then students were once that was done, then the students were able to test test their different kinds of questions or the same document. So let's say if you have a question about let's say you have a question in a document that you already gave to Watson, what is calcium? And that is done during training, but during testing, if you ask how useful is called calcium, or if you try different variations of that question, then Watson will be able to give you exactly the same answer, okay? So apart from that, Ryerson also has taken an initiative to create startups. So they already have a digital media zone. So we have assigned a space for big data over there, big data class over there, and up till now there was one group which has reached that far. And today's talk, as I mentioned earlier, will discuss about IBM Watson and experiences. We'll discuss our experiences about IBM Watson. So before I go into the detail of our experiences, I'm gonna explain you the fundamentals of the Watson. So you have already seen the interface of the Watson that David Douglas just showed you. I did not put the pictures of the interface just to save time. In that interface, you need to upload documents first, well-defined documents or well-curated documents or well-formatted documents, and then you have to provide questions or the mapping of questions to different parts of the document, so which will be like question and answer mappings. So what happens in Watson is that there are 4 main stages of Watson. The first stage is called question analysis, second stage is called hypothesis generation, and the third stage is called answer scoring, and the fourth one is merging and ranking the answers. I'm going to explain each of them one by one. So in the first stage, which is called question analysis, when you provide a question to Watson, what it does, it divides it into keywords. So just like a search engine or any other system might do. So it divides it into keywords. So here is an example. This is just a hypothetical example I created. So who is the president of the United States? So it would be divided into different keywords, but the keywords could be over here, president and United States. And apart from identifying keywords, what Watson does is that it tries to identify the answer type of a particular question. So the concept of answer type is rooted in the question answering system in general. So whenever you have a question, the question answering system tries to find out what is the answer type. So what is the particular answer a question is looking for. So that's what Watson does as well. And the rules to determine this answer type are built in by using Prolog rules in Watson. So once Watson identifies, first what Watson do, Watson divides question into keywords, and then it identifies the answer type. And then the millions of documents were searched in the actual Watson interface. So for you, if you are training Watson on a set of documents, so it will search the document based on the keywords of this question. Then once the documents are searched, the second step in Watson Cognitive is hypothesis generation. In this second step, candidate answers are identified, or in other words, passages are identified, and they are ranked. So each document, so here you see examples. Here you see over here, these are the documents, and this is the rank given to the documents and the passage and the rank assigned to the passages in the document. And this ranking is done by using keywords, answer types, n-grams. So different combinations are used to rank this, okay? So I just created another hypothetical example to give you an example. So if you have a bit of idea about machine learning, you will soon realize in my next slides what is going on. So third step in Watson is, it assigns scores, or it assigns scores to different parts of or all these passages again. So these scores are called answer scoring analytics. So here is an example. It's called type coercion. Type coercion is just the score assigned based on the answer type. So different questions or different passages are now, assigned scores based on these answer scoring analytics. So there are hundreds of answer scoring analytics are used. The fourth and the last step is that once this is done, so you can see over here, you can see over here, each of the document is now like a vector to a machine learning model. So it's like a record in the test set. And these machine learning models, I'm just going to explain you in a moment like how these machine learning models are built. So this vector is given to this machine learning model, and then the machine learning model just rank them, or these are like probabilities for each of the passages. And these passages are then given to the user, like this in the order of the decreasing probability. So the first one will be the best answer, second one will be the next best answer. These machine learning models are built from the training documents that you provide in the beginning to Watson and the training questions that you provide to it. So, and the process is exactly the same as this one. Only thing is that with the training question, the last, there is one more column, which is the class label column. So yes, no, if the question has the right answer or not. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through my experiences before I run out of my time. So we had, I've been teaching, like I've mentioned, I taught 3 courses on this so far, and we found out like document formatting is very important. If you don't have the right document format, you will not get the right answers back, and your accuracy accuracy during testing will be very, very low. Okay, so document formatting is very important, and we use Microsoft Word to format document, or if your students are good enough in programming, they can use Python or any other thing to create documents. So consistent formatting is very important. Watson is very good in picking up the synonyms. So if you, during testing, if you type question, and Watson will be quickly able to find out, will be able to give you the correct answer based on the alternate word or synonym, but sometimes it won't. So if it won't be able to do it, for you, then it means that you need to add more questions for the same answer, alternate questions, or you will have to add more keywords for the same answer. For the 5 project things that you just mentioned, I would suggest do not create 5 projects. Just create 1 project for the whole class, because I created 5 projects in my class and I had a horrible time. We had to share because every project had to be, only 1 project can be deployed at a time. So I had to share the time. And sometimes if I forget, then I receive lots of mails, and so I stopped doing that. So just deploy 1 project per class. But what you can do, you can divide for each project, you can have multiple subtopics. So every group can have different subtopics. Deleting document, be careful while deleting documents. If you delete documents, you have to delete all the questions that are mapped to those documents. So now I suggest all my students, when they are entering question, keep the mapping in the document as well in somewhere else. So Watson may give you, may tell you like these questions need repair, but sometimes some student told me like they didn't get to know like whether they need to delete a question or not. Sensitivity to confidence. This is an interesting part that we have experienced, and in fact you will experience as well. If you type variations of a question that were not given during training, Watson will give you the correct answer, but you will not get the same confidence level. And even for the exact, I think this one was given during training. This is the same question as training. The confidence is highest, not 100% over here. But the thing over here is that the answers are correct. So don't be intimidated by the fact that the confidence is low. If your answer is correct, that should be okay. Okay. But Watson is sensitive to different kinds of variations. Like confidence in Watson is sensitive to different variations. And Watson user interface, in fact, I gave all these recommendations, already forwarded it to relevant people at IBM. So we need a user interface such that we can connect to Shell or a web API, where we can just map all, like we can just upload all our questions directly through a programming interface, because right now we have to map questions manually. That's just one of the suggestions, and we found out that only Word documents go really well, not PDF and not HTML. Okay. Actually, if HTML have lots of, nowadays HTML documents have a lot of junk, extra information, JavaScript and all those things, so you have to delete all those things. So I recommend my students to just create Word documents. Despite all the challenges, Watson is still a powerful product. So I'm not criticizing IBM, I'm just trying to give only a constructive feedback. So we had one of the student group which reached to the next level, and only 3 students created more than 1,000 questions. They created about 1,300 questions, and they focus on cheap and healthy food. So how can you buy cheap and healthy food in Canada? And answers are given through Watson. And Ryerson now is working with them or helping them to start a company. Conclusion, Watson is new, approximately a year old, and it will take some time to mature, but if it is trained properly, then simple ideas can be converted into very good companies, entrepreneurship. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any quick questions? So I think we got time for maybe one or whatever. Does anybody have a question?
Yeah.
Okay, done.
It didn't go so well.
What
were some of the issues with the PDF
files? If the PDF files are well formatted, you create a Word document, you convert it into PDF and upload it over there, it will be parsed properly. But nowadays, many PDFs have background images and tables, so tables don't go well with Watson. So if you tell students to upload PDF, will download PDFs from different websites and they will upload them as it is. So. Yeah. This is what I recommend, or I tell students to just convert everything first. So what I recommend is that you should have titles and passages. Okay.
I didn't get a chance to thank IBM and the program that they have for Watson, they have a 1-hour online session every week that if you have problems, you can log in. And Armin is the guy that does that, and he's outstanding, so he can help you. You're not just given and left. If you have problems, you have somebody to go to.
Yeah, in fact, I'd like to add something like I created a set of guidelines with the help of Armin, and now those guidelines I've given to like tutorials, and now those tutorials I've given them to IBM, and they have put there into the new course module.
Okay, we got one more, and then we'll move on to the next presentation.
So I was wondering about Markdown, since that's such a simple way to encode these types of headings for this type of situation. Would Markdown documents work here? Or is
You
there...
mean such as markup languages with XML or those things?
Or simpler than that?
We never tried it, but they should work if they are. And this is what one of the suggestions that we have for Armin and for IBM, that if we can just have markup-based documents, and we can assign some sort of an ID or reference to different passages, and then we can have another set of document or another document with questions reference to those IDs, then we can automatically upload all those things. So right now I don't think it's exactly there, but if you upload this Word file over there, it is converted into a markup-based document by Watson. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much for a great presentation.